Everybody look around this room. Can we get a broad shot here, Corey? A broad shot of the room. There you go. And now flip to the other camera from the other one. I just want everybody to look around. I want you guys to look around. Here. Okay, look around this. I created this. 11 years ago, none of this existed except here. Just a vision. Just an idea. I didn't see with clarity exactly everything that I was going to create, exactly how it was going to play out. I did not see this HQ. I didn't have that clarity yet, but I knew I was going to build something. So I want you to think about your life right now. I look around my life, and everything in my life, I look at it and go like, I created this. The good stuff, I created it. The bad shit, I created it. Because one of the declarations of Masters is, I create my life by what? By the choices I make. I create my life by the choices I make. Everybody write this down in your journal. I create my life by the choices that I make. I create my life by the choices I make. Now, all of this is in your Master Path playbook and Declarations of a Master in milestone number 1 on story. I create my life by the choices I make. So everything that is in your life right now, the good, the bad, the ugly, I created it. You created it. So in the Bible, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. This is how creation began. And then, later in that same chapter, Genesis chapter 1, God said, let us make man, not gender specific, just let us make humanity in our image. And whose image? God. In the very context of what? Creation. In the context of creation, God creates the heavens and the earth. He creates everything. And then he says, let's make man like us. Let's make people like this. Let's make them creators. Nobody taught me this. How many of you were never taught that you were a creator? Who was never taught this? No, we weren't taught this. Okay, this is participation. Yes, I am paying attention to you motherfuckers. How many of you were never taught you were creators? Okay, beautiful. Some of you were taught you were creators. I love it. But most of us never really owned that. Like, okay, what does that mean? It means that I am responsible for what I create in my life. I make my choices, and my choices make me. We make our choices, and then our choices make us. And our choices are the seeds of creation. So, the first question of today is, what have you created in your life today? Write it down. What have I created in my life right now? What have I created in my life? You can type it, yeah, for sure. What have I created in my life? And then you look around. Like, what's going on in my world? You created it. Some good, some not so good. You created it. Now, does that mean we created everything in our life? Maybe not. But what it means is that the more I accept responsibility for what is in my life, the more power I have over it, to control it, to change it. I want power. Why? Power gives me control. Control gives me choices. Second question. What is possible? What is possible? So what is current right now? What is the reality right now? What have I created? So we'll call this reality. So you are the creator. And so as a creator, you have your present, which is what you have created right now, your reality. I'm going to call that reality. This is your current reality. Your current reality. All right? And then there is the possibility of what you have created, what you can create, and then out of that, and it's going to come out of this, but I'm going to do it here just because I like the way it looks better, is what is certain. What are you absolutely certain that you are going to create? So there's the possibility of what I could create, but there is the certainty of what I know I'm going to create. Possibility represents our potential. This represents our potential. This represents our past decisions, our past choices, and so forth. The certainty represents our commitments. This represents the promises that we have made to ourselves. You better write fast, bro. Got to catch up.
Yeah.
Good to see you. So today and tomorrow is about taking from this and moving it into this. What can I create and what am I committed to creating in my life? And that's where this whole journey goes. And what happened for me 10, 11 years ago is actually in October of 2011. October 2011, after the crash, I had spent about 36 months in survival mode. Surviving. What was I doing? I created my reality. My reality was based on what? It was not based on my potential. It was based on my commitment. What was my commitment? My commitment was I got to survive. Got to pay the bills. Got to keep from losing my car. Shit, lost my car. Got to keep from losing my house. Fuck, lost my house. But I'm going to have a place to live, right? Who's ever lost a car before? Who else besides me has ever lost a car? Okay, who else besides me has ever lost a house? Foreclosure. Because we've been through the shit, Jesus, right? But did we ever not have a place to live? No. Why? Had to have a place to live. That was commitment. That was survival. And so I knew I was going to always have a place to live. I knew I was always going to have something to drive. I just had to go from a very nice car down to a not so nice car. I mean, it worked out good for me, but it was instead of back then a $40,000 car, it was a $9,000 car that I could afford the payments on. Why? What I had to have. So here's the thing about your creation, is that you choose it and then you create it. You choose it and then you create it. Now there's another piece to this, and that is your destiny. Your destiny. And your destiny is what I consider to becomes my and yours responsibility. Because this is what I've created, this is what I could create, this is what I commit to create, and this is what I'm called to create. So with this is for those like me who believe that there is a purpose in life greater than just yourself, like bigger than just me choosing, that I have a calling. And that becomes my responsibility. That becomes what I am destined to create. But the beauty of it is, either I don't know if it's good or bad, but it is the reality, is that you still get to choose it. You still have to choose this. You're not forced. God does not, the universe does not force you to live into your destiny. You have to choose it. And so a lot of this over the next few days is us getting clear about what are the choices that we make. Are we choosing our calling? Are we choosing to live into what's possible for us? And where is that level of certainty? And how do we take that level of certainty to a whole new thing? Okay, last week I had 2 coaching members quit. I take it personal. I hate it. And as every time it does, I reflect on it. I'm like, okay, what's the feedback? What am I learning from this? Because either their expectations did not get met, I did not do my job, our team did not do our job, or maybe it was not us, maybe it was them, or maybe it was a combination. But I'm always like, what happened, what happened, what happened? And so I'm looking at them like, okay, in 11 years, I've had dozens and dozens of coaching members quit. I've also had dozens and dozens of coaching members go to over $500,000 a year and become millionaires and multimillionaires. And I'm like, so what's the difference? Here's what I've never had happen. I've never had anybody quit coaching and go on to make $500,000 and become a millionaire and multimillionaire. Never seen it. You ever seen it, Bucci? Everybody seen anybody quit and go on to become? Now I've had people get to $500,000 or $1 million a year and then they quit and go on to another coaching program or they just go a different direction. Love it. Awesome. But they're moving forward. And so here's what I want to just share with you, 2 deadly mistakes as you look at this process of going from just being the person who's like, okay, I'm a hustler, I'm a worker bee, to becoming a creator of your future, creator of your life, a creator of your destiny. 2 deadly mistakes. Number 1, quitting on your dreams because of adversity. Quitting on your dreams because of adversity. Quitting on your dreams because it's harder than you thought it was going to be. How many of you ever started something and discovered it was harder than you thought it was going to be? Raise your hand. This happened, right? Like almost everything we're doing. It's like, yeah, it's a lot easier said than done. Well, what the fuck is it easier said than done? Is it easier to raise a kid than it is to do it? Is it easier to say it than to do it? Right? Raising a kid is easier said than done, right? How about cooking dinner? Oh, it's easier said than done. Well, of course it's easier said than done. Going to the gym is easier said than done. Getting 6-pack abs, easier said than done. Putting on your pants, easier said than done. So shut the fuck up with this story of like, well, yeah, but that's a lot easier said than done. Well, everything that's worth doing is easier said than it is done because saying it doesn't mean anything if you don't do it. So isn't it crazy how we create these bullshit stories as a justification for why we lose? Yeah, well, I know, but it's just easier. It's easier. That's a lot easier said than done. It's easier for you to say, well, it is easier for me to say. But when I got the fruit on the tree, I've also done it. So shut the fuck up. And this is how you have to talk. The way I'm saying this is I want you to get this clear about this is how you have to talk to your limiting beliefs. This is how you have to talk to that conditioned mind that comes in and go like, oh, this is too hard. Really? What's too hard? Was creating the incandescent light bulb too hard for Thomas Edison? Was it? Was it too hard? No. How do we know it wasn't too hard? Because he did it. What was the journey? 10,000 defeats. They said he tried over 10,000 different ways of getting an incandescent light bulb that would burn and continue to burn before he found the one way that would actually work. Well, it's easier said than done. It's a lot easier said than done. Who's the guy that created that first made the radio work? What was his name? I don't remember his name. But when he started saying there is a frequency that we can use radio waves to communicate human voice to another place without wires, without anything, some of his friends actually had him committed to an insane asylum. 100 years ago, a little over 100 years ago, 150 years ago, whatever it was. They literally had him committed to an insane asylum. They had him, then he had to be tested to see if he was mentally competent. Because they're like, you're crazy. And he's staking his life on something. They're like, you're crazy. You're crazy. It's all in Think and Grow Rich. Say, you're crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. But he did it. When Henry Ford said he was going to, they were like, Henry Ford, they're like, you're not going to, there's no way to create cars like that everyday man or woman can drive and use. It's not possible. And he's like, I will belt the earth with reliable motor cars. Bill Gates, I will put a personal computer in every living room in America. I think you a little overachieved on that one.
And he said he underachieved.
What's that?
He said he underachieved.
Well, he said he set my goals. He said I set my goals
Too small.
too small. They asked Bill Gates, what is the biggest regret that you have about Microsoft? And he said,
He said that he wished he had said.
Grab us a catch box here, Darlish. Can you throw the catch box over here?
He said he had wished that he had the goal to put a computer on every desk in the world and not in the country.
He said I set my goals too small. I was just thinking of America. Should have said every living room in the world. Creator. Easier said than done. Countless hours spent in the garage. What was everybody else doing? They were not standing in the garage. They were sitting on the couch, fucking around. And today, countless millions and millions of people, instead of standing on the garage with a dream building shit, are sitting in front of a computer that Bill Gates' vision created, doing nothing. Wasting their time, surfing the internet, watching social media, playing video games, all the bullshit that's just like... See, the difference between Henry Ford and the 100,000 employees that he had was one learned that his mind could help him create an empire. Everybody else's mind was not the mind of a creator, there was the mind of a peasant. Did they have the capacity to create? Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're all creators. They just didn't know.